we have with us in the studio this morning Mr. or should I say Comrade Wabba, who is the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you. Good morning.
And it seemed to have started like a joke, but now it would seem that this is now full-blown face-off between yourself, not just yourself, I mean by yourself, I mean the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Minister of Labour. But some people will say this matters are getting rather personalized over this NSITF inauguration. What exactly is Labour's interest in inauguration of the board, beyond the fact that the body, that's the NSITF, looks after the welfare of members?
Well, thank you very much. Let me try to correct the impression first, that it's not even only organized labor, even organized private sector, who are also stakeholders in the management of the Social Insurance Trust Fund, because one, the organized private sector actually contributes bulk of the money for the social security cover of their workers. And therefore, the end beneficiary is the worker, but the two organizations have actually been concerned. And this is not the only labor market institution that the inauguration have taken longer than necessary. One very important institution that also regulates the issue of industrial relations, in conformity with ILO Convention 144 on tripartite consultation, 4 years down the line, that body has not also been constituted. That is the National Labour Advisory Council. Because the law provides that issues of industrial relation, issues of labor, should always be discussed on a round table and solutions arrive at. And that's why the tripartite consultation in many countries, including Nigeria, is something that is not supposed to be ad hoc. There should be a permanent committee so that where any union or any state have an issue, that issue can be discussed and solution can be arrived. Well, we are very passionate about the issue of the National Social Insurance Trust Fund. As rightly pointed out, a lot of things have happened. And let me go down memory lane. I think from 2003 to date, the issue of workers' money, because let me emphasize that the money belongs to worker. It's just like the pension fund. Once the employer contributes and the worker contributes and it gets into the retirement savings account, it becomes the workers' money. And therefore, workers have been very interested. Even the issue of corruption we are saying today, it is workers that expose it. Workers were very passionate, and I'm very happy. All those that have been identified are appointees of government. The former MD and the executive directors, the chairperson, because those, for now, that have no issue is the representative of Central Bank of Nigeria and the two representatives of Labour in the former board. And in any case...
You're veering off my question.
I'm coming to your question.
We'll come to the issue of corruption
Yes, later. I'm coming to your question.
But I think the issue now is, what is your interest in beyond, let us inaugurate this
I'm coming to the question.
To take care of the
I'm coming to the question. I'm
workers.
taking you through. That's why I wanted to lay the foundation of why we are passionate about this key labor market institution being inaugurated. Before now, you knew that we have over 500 boards and parastatals. All those boards have been constituted. But this single board, National Social Insurance Trust Fund, was actually left out. And there was no communication. Nobody is telling us what is happening. Until around 2017, when our senior comrade, Kokori, informed us that he was invited by the Minister of Labour. They had dinner in his house, and he was informed that he has been appointed and that they are discussing the issue of inauguration. We say, well, thank God that this is what we have been expecting. You recalled, after 3 months of that discussion, an inauguration never took place. Kokori, at a function of Ganifa Emi in Lagos, which is on the media now, raised the issue that, well, it's like his right is being also trampled upon. That having been invited, they had dinner and he said about inauguration. Is it because it is a labor market institution? So that is how NLC came in, because one, the issue of inaugurating the board is something that we thought will also bring corporate governance into play.
Okay.
Where a board will be managed by one person, certainly will not deliver on good governance where you have key stakeholders. NLC is key stakeholders, and that's why the Act envisaged that NLC should have 2 members. Not only that.
Who did he have dinner with? Let me just quickly clarify this. Who was the person who recommended the appointment of Mr. Kokori?
Well, what we are told, because before the issue of even Kokori, the issue we are canvassing is inauguration of the board. Because we never recommended him. We are not even aware that he was recommended.
So who recommended him?
That is what I'm coming to. We are told that, you know, all the boards, over 500 of them, there was a committee between the former SGF and the Office of the Vice President that did all the recommendation on the orders of Mr. President. All the boards, all the 500 boards, without the exception of National Social Insurance Trust Fund, including NDE. NDE is a labor market institution. Michael Imodu is a labor market institution. All those boards were constituted at the same time. Well, and this is how we got the information. And also how he then invited Kokori, and those informations became public. We followed up, and we were told, yes, that the appointment had been made. Along the line, while he singled out this without inauguration, he also informed us that he needed to get a revalidation from the president. Okay. After return from his medical leave. Let me lay the foundation. And he informed us that that had been done. Including Kokori was aware. We told him, yes, we don't have a problem with that. Along the line then, they discussed. He invited Kokori on 4 occasions. The last one was in July, where a committee was set up. So the fact of the matter now, even with the announcement, precisely on the 28th of April, where the issue of swapping came about, it's clear that appointment was made. Because you cannot swap somebody if there is no appointment. It was on a national network news to say that Kokori will no longer be on the board of Social Insurance Trust Fund. He has been swapped to Michael Imodu Institute. So clearly there was an appointment because we are not part of the appointment, and we are told he was appointed on his personal merit. We are very passionate because he is from Labour. He's not an orphan. He has what it takes. He has integrity because it's a part-time board.
That's the reason why.
What is required is somebody with credibility that can also address the challenge.
Comrade Wabba, what you are saying then is that Mr. Kokori's appointment became personal to you. Is that right?
No.
But I don't mean you personally. Yes. I mean the Nigeria Labour Congress.
Yes. Having appointed him and having delayed the process of inauguration for over 2 years,
yes,
we told that possibly it's also personal because Kokori is from Labour and possibly they don't want Labour person there. That's why we thought that Kokori, coming from a very strategic union, Nupeng, and also coming from the rank and file organized labor, despite the fact that we never recommended him, we are told he was recommended from his state, Delta, as a trustee of APC from Delta. The records are there. And that is how he was appointed. But having appointed him, because before then, the issue of Kokori was not an issue. The issue was inaugurate the board.
A number of days ago, I think the presidency eventually waded into this fracas between Labour and the minister. And we were told that the minister has the prerogative to recommend, you know, someone to the president for appointment. Perhaps that was not the process, because you just mentioned that the SGF and the Office of the Vice President, you know, did all of the appointment of the 500 boards that there are. So perhaps maybe there was some controversy. Do you think that that could have explained what was going on behind the scenes?
Well, even if there is controversy, we are social partners.
Yes.
In this particular issue. It's a labor market institution. We shouldn't wait until the 11th hours. Labour will have been informed officially. Even him, Kokori, will have been informed. Up till now, there is no formal communication to him. After the minister invited him, had a dinner in his house to say, you have been appointed, let us work towards inauguration. On 4 occasions, there is no formal communication, both to us and to Labour, because the issue of Kokori appointment was not the issue, mainly. It was inaugurating the board. So clearly speaking, there is a breakdown in communication. That communication, which was made public to Nigerians, only came on at the eve of the inauguration, which you said 2 days ago.
Would you say the manner in which Labour has gone about asking for the inauguration of the board is in tandem with, you know, what Labour is known for? You have taken this in such a manner that is so personal. I mean, I think I know that there was a time when it was seen that there was an invitation for inauguration, and Labour was said to have invaded the house or the office where the inauguration was supposed to take place. The minister had to call off that inauguration.
That is also not true.
Which is what we heard that Mr.
Yes.
Kokori cried.
That is not also true. Let me lay the foundation to get the correct information.
We do not have all the time for the foundation,
Please,
I'm afraid.
just briefly. One is that, yes, there was an attempt to do an inauguration. And the tradition is that once we are doing the inauguration, social partners will be invited. We were there seated. We sat for 2 hours. There was no communication to Kokori after Minister met with Kokori on 4 occasions to tell him that he's the chairman. So he came along. We all sat. After 2 hours, a senior director came. It's on clip to say that, well, the inauguration is put off because some other members are not there. And we tried to inquire. All the members are seated. NECA is seated. NLC, 2 members are seated. CBN is seated. All the executive director who is not available. There was no information. Only later for us to be told that we invited the event, which is not true.
Were you
it's
invited?
On the clip.
Were you invited?
Certainly. Labour should be there.
No, were you invited?
No, it's not about invitation. It's a labour market institution. That's the normal tradition.
If Labour is going to be there,
we have 2 members.
Shouldn't Labour also be invited?
Yeah, 2 members, 2 of our members were invited and were there.
The board was inaugurated yesterday.
Yes.
Were you invited?
No, that's why it's exclusive. It's exclusive because the tradition, over 30 years ago, the tradition, once those boards will be inaugurated, Labour will be there, NECA will be there, all other social partners will be there. Because it's not something that is in secret. It's something that is open. Most other, in fact, they even come with their families and their spouse. It's normal for boards to be inaugurated in like manner.
Okay, let's quickly talk about minimum wage. You have also alleged that there seems to be some foot dragging over the implementation of minimum wage. Is that right? I mean,
well,
what exactly is the situation right now with implementation?
You are aware that already the bill has been assented to by Mr. President and is almost getting to a month now. The tradition we are aware of and the procedure, because the minimum wage did not start yesterday, it started from 1981. By now, the necessary guideline will have been issued by Salaries and Wages Commission because statutorily, they are the agency responsible for that. But also the issue is domiciled in the Ministry of Labour. After the signing of the instrument, up till now there is no communication of what is going on and what is happening. And therefore everybody is at a fix. Because one is a process that must be driven by Federal Ministry of Labour. By now we expected that the social partners, NECA, organized labour, and other employers of labour will have been informed that this is where we are and that Salaries and Wages Commission ought to have issued circular. So clearly there is a delay, and that's why you can see that a lot of questions have arose. And we have also informed the ministry official that by now we are expecting that they should have followed up on the guideline and we should have been invited for a social dialogue on the best approach to actually drive the process of implementation, because we are at the level of implementation. It's already a law. It's already signed. It's already assented to. We thank God that many states have taken initiative to actually put committees to look at how to implement. But at the center, where we need to give the best of example and also drive the process, particularly the Salaries and Wages Commission with the Ministry of Labour, nothing has happened.
You don't think that this tiff which you're having over NSITF, which is just one board, is going to mar the kind of, dialogue you're supposed to be having with, say, the Minister of Labour now over matters that are very important like this?
Yeah, that is why Labour have always tried to raise issues where those issues are not addressed in the normal channel of industrial relation. Let me inform you that in industrial relation milieu, the tripartite, organized labour, NECA, and government are supposed to be on equal footing because the workers need to be represented by their unions, employers need to be represented by the employers' organization. So this is the process. Even at the ILO, we sit in this format where issues can be raised by any of the parties. And therefore, the other parties must give attention and consideration to those issues. So clearly speaking, if it is about procedure, if it is about how things are done, that's part of why the issue of trust have degenerated to the level where it is. Because we are not supposed to be raising this issue over and over again. You write and there is no response. So and that's why we have reached this level where actually the issue of social dialogue have broken completely. So clearly it's not expected because you don't treat human beings as disposables. No. in every jurisdiction.
How has
where you have
treated you as disposables?
Clearly, workers...
Is it because of the matter of Mr. Frank Kokori?
No. Many other issues. I've raised the issue of National Labour Advisory Council. It's a key labour market institution. In many countries, in fact, even the issue of minimum wage, the discussion ought to have started from that level. And therefore, even the issue of industrial relation you have in different sectors, the idea is, once you have those issues, bring them to the table.
You have only just raised this matter. I mean, this board which you talked about that is yet to be constituted.
No, for the past 2.5 years, if you look at our communication, our various meetings, our various communique, even in the May Day, those issues have been raised. At our highest organ, the National Delegate Conference, these issues were listed out as issues that have been outstanding. And they have affected smooth running of industrial relations and peaceful coexistence between the tripartite. What I'm saying is not only exclusive to us, you can also invite NECA. They have also shared this thing in the closet, and we have discussed this issue. And we said, well, labor administration in Nigeria did not start yesterday. It has been there for over many years. From 1960 to date, we have signed most of the treaties that pertain to industrial relations, particularly Conventions 87 and 98.
Comrade, I'm sure that the issues of labor, I mean, they are ongoing. The discussions will be ongoing, and we hope that whenever it is we call on you, you will answer.
No, certainly. We are always ready to engage issues on the round table.
And we know that.
And Nigerians will follow in the process. We don't hide things. We make it very open.
We have to thank you for coming on this morning. Thank you so much for coming. Comrade Ayuba Wabba is the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress.